The restaurant was loud that evening, too loud for someone like Elena. Plates clattered, customers laughed, waiters rushed past each other with forced smiles, and the kitchen roared like a battlefield. But Elena moved differently. Quiet. Careful. Almost invisible. She had always been like that. A shy waitress who barely spoke above a whisper, yet somehow noticed everything. Every empty glass. Every uncomfortable customer. Every unspoken emotion. But what no one in that restaurant knew, was that Elena carried a secret skill, one she had learned not for a job, but for love. Years ago, her younger brother had lost his hearing in an accident. While the world pitted him, Elena refused to let silence take his voice away. She learned sign language. Every night. Every spare moment. Until she became fluent, not just in gestures, but in emotion. Sign language, she believed, wasn't just communication. It was connection. And that night, it would change her life forever. The restaurant doors suddenly opened. The atmosphere shifted instantly. It wasn't just another customer. It was him. Dante Moretti. The man whose name was whispered in fear across the city. A powerful mafia boss, calm, cold, and dangerously observant. Conversations died down as he entered. Even the manager stiffened. Dante walked in with authority, his sharp eyes scanning the room, not looking for luxury, but control. Behind him was an elderly woman. Elegant. Graceful. But silent. His mother. No one dared approach them at first, until the manager nervously pushed Elena forward. "Why you handle table 7, he whispered urgently. Elena froze. Her hands trembled. Of all customers, why him? But she nodded quietly. Because that's what she always did. She showed up, even when she was afraid. As she approached the table, Dante barely glanced at her. But his mother did. And that's when Elena noticed something. The way the woman's eyes moved. The way she watched lips, not sounds. The stillness in her reactions. Elena's heart skipped. She's deaf, she realized instantly. For a moment, Elena hesitated. Then something inside her, something brave and familiar, took over. Instead of speaking, she gently placed the menu down. And signed. "Good evening. Welcome. How are you today?" Silence. Absolute silence. The kind that freezes time. Dante looked up sharply. His expression changed. For the first time, the unshakable mafia boss looked surprised. His mother's eyes widened. Then, slowly, a smile spread across her face. Not a polite smile. A real one. Warm. Emotional. She responded instantly in sign language, fast, expressive, alive. And Elena understood every word. They began to talk. Not with voices. But with hands. With eyes. With emotion. The entire restaurant watched in disbelief. The shy waitress, who barely spoke, was suddenly communicating with elegance and confidence no one had ever seen before. Dante sat there, stunned. He had spent years ensuring his mother was treated with respect, but most people either ignored her condition, or treated her like she was fragile. But this girl. She treated her like a person. Like she mattered. Like she was heard, without needing to hear. "What did she say?" Dante finally asked quietly. Elena hesitated, then spoke softly. She said, "This is the first time a stranger spoke to her without pity." Dante's jaw tightened slightly. That hit something deep. Something personal. Throughout the evening, Elena continued serving them, but something had changed. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was a bridge between two worlds. Dante began watching her more closely. Not in suspicion, but in curiosity. Who was this girl? Why had no one noticed her before? And why did her presence feel different? Before leaving, his mother gently held Elena's hand. Then signed something slowly. Elena's eyes softened. She says, "Thank you for making her feel seen." Dante paused. Then, unexpectedly, he spoke. "What's your name?" "Elena." He nodded once. But his gaze lingered. Because something about this quiet girl didn't feel ordinary. As they walked out, the restaurant slowly came back to life. But whispers spread everywhere. "Did you see that? How does she know sign language?" Even the boss was impressed. Elena returned to her corner. Quiet again. Invisible again. But deep down, she had no idea that this single moment had just pulled her into a world she could never walk away from. The next day felt different. Elena couldn't explain it. But something lingered in the air. Something waiting. By evening, the restaurant buzzed again, but this time, whispers weren't about food. They were about her. The Mafia boss came yesterday. He noticed her. She talked to his mom. Elena tried to ignore it. She always avoided attention. Because attention meant pressure. And pressure made her retreat. Then the doors opened again. And everything went silent. Dante Moretti had returned. But this time, he came alone. The manager panicked again. "Elena, table 7. Now." Her heart raced. Why did he come back? Was something wrong? Did she offend him? She approached slowly. This time, Dante looked directly at her. No hesitation. No indifference. Just focus. "My mother wants to see you again," he said calmly. Elena blinked. "Me?" He nodded. "She hasn't stopped talking about you." That alone was enough to shake her. But what he said next changed everything. "I want you to work for us." The world stopped. Elena stared at him, confused. I'm just a waitress." "No," Dante said quietly. "You're someone who made my mother feel human again." He leaned slightly forward. "And I don't forget people like that." Elena's mind raced. This wasn't just a job offer. This was a doorway. Into a dangerous world. A powerful world. A world she had no place in. "I can't," she whispered. Dante didn't react immediately. Instead, he studied her. "Why?" Elena swallowed. "Because I don't belong in your world." For a moment, silence. Then something unexpected happened. Dante smiled. A small, rare smile. "Neither did I." That answer stayed with her. Days passed. But life didn't return to normal. Because once someone like Dante notices you, you don't go back to being invisible. One evening, everything changed. A group of aggressive men entered the restaurant. Loud. Drunk. Dangerous. They harassed staff. Shouted. Created chaos. Elena tried to avoid them. But one of them grabbed her wrist. "Hey, why so quiet?" Her fear returned instantly. The same fear she had always carried. But before things escalated, a voice cut through the room. Cold. Controlled. Deadly. "Let her go." Dante. No one saw him enter. But suddenly, he was there. And the entire atmosphere shifted again. The men froze. Because they knew exactly who he was. And what he was capable of. Within seconds, they backed off. Apologizing. Leaving. Disappearing. Elena stood there, shaken. Dante looked at her, not with anger, but with understanding. You see now, he said quietly. The world isn't kind to people who stay silent. Elena looked down. Then slowly, she signed. Not spoke. Signed. Silence isn't weakness. Dante watched carefully. Then responded, awkwardly, but trying. With his hands. Imperfect. But real. Elena's eyes widened. You're learning? She asked softly. For her, he said. A pause. Maybe now, for you too. That moment changed everything. Weeks later, Elena made a choice. Not out of fear, but strength. She accepted. Not as part of his world, but as part of his family. She became his mother's companion. Her voice. Her connection. Her comfort. And slowly, she stopped being invisible. Not because she became loud, but because she realized something powerful. You don't need to speak to be heard. And Dante? He never forgot the night a shy waitress spoke louder than anyone in the room. Without saying a single word. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe, like, and share, because stories like this remind us that true power isn't in noise, it's in connection.